recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 9 of the Fuzzy Butt Talk Show. This one is a live stream edition, as well as it's going to be recorded and uploaded afterwards. We have here Justice, we have Airwolf, and we have Indie and her girlfriend. And my husband is here as well, sharing the mic with me. And to start us off, Indie comes from TikTok. I watch her all the time on TikTok whenever she does go live. So she wanted to bring up the concept of, like, we're talking about furries again. Go figure. But this time around, it's going to be about Therians. Because not a lot of people know about them.
What's this? I was always wondering what a Therian is.
But I can start with that if we want.
So, I mean, you could go ahead and start. Like, the
Nothing.
general, most basic question, what is a Therian?
So, Therians are people that identify as an animal, and it can be either spiritually or mentally.
Yeah. I mean, I myself, I'm a fox Therian.
Yeah.
Hence my profile picture and my little icon down in the bottom right on stream. So for me, like my usual first question for everybody is that streams or whatnot. Who is your inspiration for streaming and why?
Honestly, one day I just decided let's just start streaming.
You just wanted to start?
Yeah. I was bored and I was like, hey, I've got time. So why don't I just start streaming? And I had my first suit, like my first suit at the time. So I was like, hey, let's just go with that.
Well, that's good. And I do think the Fennec is really cute.
Thank you.
I'll be getting mine sometime next month.
Hey, nice.
But another question that I can ask is, let me pull up my questions. A lot of us, like I know most of us here, play VR, a game called VR Chat, and sometimes in virtual reality. And the question is, like, what is your viewpoint on virtual reality?
So I've had a go at it a couple times myself. Oh, it's pretty good. I wanted to get into myself, but it's pretty expensive at the moment. But it's a fun little thing to do. As long as you're doing it safely and appropriately, yeah, it's pretty fun. So
And making sure where your surroundings are too.
How much is
Yes, I
true?
have punched many holes in my walls.
We got a couple dents.
That will definitely do it. I think a
I was
question
always
for.
sitting on the,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was always sitting on the couch, so I wasn't moving around. So.
Oh, yeah. And I think something that's more relevant to all of us here is, what is your favorite video game series?
BF2.
Ooh.
Series, or
What
could it just be a
series?
video
A
game
whole series,
overall?
like a game franchise. Not the companies behind them, just the actual game itself.
I
Deep
don't
Rock
know.
Galactic.
I don't know if I consider
I
TF2 as a. Oh, yeah, it would be because Fortress of
Like
All.
something that's had multiple games in a series.
Oh, so
Well,
Deep
Team
Rock doesn't.
Fortress has
I,
had multiple games.
Yeah.
You got Team Fortress Classic and Team Fortress 2.
actually, would Deep Rock technically count now? Because it's getting a like, kind of like a spin-off of
It's
it by the
not
company.
official yet.
Well, it's because actually today they announced well, they're announcing another game of it, Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core.
Yeah, but it's not out. They just announced they were going to work on it.
Yeah, it's still gonna. The thing is, that still technically means it's gonna be a series now.
No.
So I stand by my point. Deep Rock Galactic.
Indie or Justice.
I
Mine's a.
don't
Go ahead.
I don't know. I can't really pick one because like I've got my favorites keep up and downing. Like I
No,
just
sorry,
switch
guys.
games.
Like,
all the time.
there's just
So,
so many you can't name one specific one.
well, I can't pick between two. There's like the truck simulators and Ace Combat.
Mm.
Ace Combat's good. I played that when I had it on my iPhone.
Ace Combat is really
Mine
good. I
would-
played it through PlayStation.
Yeah.
Ace Combat has to be one of my favorite, but if you're going by total playtime to consider favoritism, it's gonna have to be Flight Simulator X and Flight Sims in general.
Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's a good
Yep.
one.
In
But
fact, I'm
the
getting ready to
recent-
start it up as we
The
speak,
recent
or
ones have
DCS.
been very resource toxic.
Yes, I will agree with that one. And the Flight Sim X from 2006, when it first released, was very resource intensive.
Yeah. So my favorite, I have it's tied for two of them. I've got the Star Wars series and I've got the Kingdom Hearts series. Those are both tied for first. And my Sona comes from the Kingdom Hearts series. I mean, as I
My
tell
Sona-
everybody, I oh
My
hey
Sona
Noah,
is from
welcome
the
to the chat.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
If you got any questions for us, ask away.
Good for now.
This is a little bit different setup for me because I'm not used to streaming. I'm just used to having everybody here in one place, and we ask all the questions in here.
Well, I guess at this point, everyone is just going with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if any of you guys have a question for any of us, ask away.
Yeah. What motivated you to start your own talk show?
I know I talked with a couple of old friends. We all talked about doing a talk show, and I think that started a couple of years ago at this point. It's just we both like there's the three of us. We were all doing a talk show, and we had all talked about doing it, and we finally sat down and did in one episode, and then it took off on my channel. Of course, my first episode, I had borrowed footage, which at the time I was on VR chat and Quest only, and then I got a better computer so I could do PC VR, and then my VR crashed. So this is the fourth episode that I'm not in VR chat. So just so I can have more people on that don't have VR chat.
Yeah.
Because the world that I use is a PC only world. Everybody knows it if they've seen the past episodes. But like I said, it's just something we all talked about doing. And I think it's a good concept. It's just a bunch of furries sitting around talking. And as far as the name goes, it was literally a joke we threw out in the first episode, and it just stuck.
It's really good. I like that.
Yeah.
Where would you like want this to go in the future?
The talk show?
Yeah.
I hope it'll I hope to get a lot of more famous YouTubers and Twitch streamers and TikTok streamers on, so like more and more people can just listen to us talk and know more about the fun side of the fandom, so to speak.
Okay. Cool.
Today's episode is just like I said, like I told you in I guess it was Discord. It's generally like just general topics about the fandom, and we're wanting to talk more about Therians as well.
Happy to answer anything.
But like I said, if y'all
But
got
like,
any questions, go ahead and ask away.
I can start with talking my experience to get the minds flowing if you'd like.
Sure, go with that.
Sure. So my experience as a Ethereum is a spiritual side more. So I identify as a Fennec spiritually. So
Mhm.
I know that I'm human. I know that this is just a fursuit. This is cosplay. This isn't a part of being Ethereum. This is like just being a furry.
Yeah.
I do have gear. So what we use is a mask, which is a way to connect with our stereotypes. So connecting with
No,
our
sorry to
stereotypes,
cut you
more
off,
like
but to answer
that's right.
Noel's question, Ethereum, they're basically somebody who identifies as an animal.
Yes,
They're like either mentally or spiritually.
correct.
And I'm not sure where they originate from. I'm sure Indy here can answer that question.
That's a good one. I actually don't know where they originate from, but it's just this feeling, this like thing where you're just like, yeah, this is it.
Mhm. What I call it is
But
phantom sense kind of thing.
yeah, it's kind of like that. So I guess if you're like originating as a Therian, you're like to become a Therian, I guess, is
Yeah.
it's sort of like a thing that you're born with. Like you don't choose to be a Therian.
Mm-hmm.
So you one day you'll just be like, you'll just discover the existence of Therians, how I did. So you'll be like, oh, what is this thing? And you just find the Therians on TikTok or Instagram, wherever. And then
Yeah.
you see that they're doing, I don't know, maybe quads, because that's popular on TikTok at the moment. So you'll see
Right.
that and go, what is this? So you look more and more into it, and then you talk to people that are doing this. And you're like, hey, what is this? And they're like, oh, this is theoranthropy. It is a thing where you have the identity of a theory, like of an animal, mentally or spiritually, and they tell you like all the things that you can experience. So, like phantom sense, you can like feel that something is there, but you don't know what it is at first. So you got to
Right.
try and explore it and like try and decipher it.
Right.
So some
They
things that
said,
I
and
would
how
feel.
they said, and how does it feel not to identify as a human?
So there's a difference with that. So I identify as human, like physically. Physically, I know I'm human, like as human as the day I was born. Spiritually, though, that's where I identify differently.
It's just something that you've always known, kind of thing.
No, I only recently figured this out like halfway through this year.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't realize that being a Ethereum, there is different things you experience. So sometimes you can just experience like random emotions, and you're like, "Why am I sad?
Yeah.
Why is this happening?" And I find that spiritually, Fen, which is my stereotype, shares their emotions through my body. It's the way that they convey themselves. So they just sometimes randomly show emotion. And typically for me, it's a lot of sadness, but sometimes it could be like anxiety or random happiness, excitement, like all that kind of thing. You can feel another thing called phantom limbs, which is like having ears like on
Oh
your
yeah,
head that aren't
phantom
there.
limbs. Yeah, I got all that.
Nice. Yeah, so you can have a tail, you can feel paws, you can feel a nose, like there's pretty much everything that you can feel. So it's not exclusive to like one thing.
Hmm. For me, the way it goes is along those lines. Like, I feel everything and then some.
Okay.
For like, I mainly stem from a wreck, but it's not something I want to get too much into. It's just I know after that wreck is whenever I started feeling like a Ethereum, and that
Yeah.
was what was it, 3 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah. They said, and how does the therianthropy? I don't know how to say that.
Yeah.
Therianthropy compares to other heartedness.
So like compares to other hearted and other kin and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, other kin and other.
Yeah. So the main identifying feature is that identity. So Therians have the identity. Other hearted is a connection. So that don't identify as their stereotype will be other hearted or other kin. Because again, it's that connection. Like you don't say that you are spiritually or like mentally an animal. It's that there's something there, but I know that I am who I am, and there's still something there, like an underlying feature that still
And that
represents
would be where
someone.
I'm at in it. I Norse pagan by religion, and I have always had a belief of spirit animals attributed to you. Mine happened to be a red fox. That's why my persona is a red fox.
So I guess Other Hearted could be that kind of thing. I don't know too much about Other Hearted. I know more about Therians, but that could be one like connection. I'm pretty sure.
And me, I know about other kin. I know all about that stuff. Just- I don't really talk about it because nobody really asked.
Well, I'm happy to be educated. Let me know.
You know, other kin is along the same lines as Therian, and like you said, it's that connection. But it's more than a connection. It's emotions, physical, mental, like every kind of connection you can think of is that's what an other kin is. Like it's it's very closely tied with the phantom sense, phantom limbs, and phantom pain.
Yeah.
Like say you just grab an area behind me, there'd be where a tail should be. I would feel somebody grabbing the tail. Okay, and how can a person distinguish between loving an animal, being over other-hearted, or and being ethereal? Uh, the difference between loving an animal and being other-hearted,
Yeah.
that question is actually kind of confusing me.
I guess so. They're saying what's the difference between like having a favorite animal, being other-hearted, and I forgot the other one.
Oh, okay. So just between loving an animal, being other-hearted, and being ethereal.
Yeah.
So the way I see it is like you love an animal, then you love an animal. That's it. And being other-hearted or other kin, you feel a deep connection, a deep emotional connection with that animal. And Ethereum is you identify as that animal.
Correct.
So if you guys got any other questions you don't want to rip off, go ahead.
So with your connect, like, do you say you were Therian or other-hearted?
Other kin.
Other kin. Awesome. So with hang on, sorry, what was your kin type?
My kin is the fox.
The fox. Yeah,
Just
that's right. So with your kin, do you also have like this kind of like past life thing?
the I didn't quite hear that.
So with your kin, do you also have this kind of like past life thing?
Yes, definitely. I definitely have a past life. I know that for sure. I just can't quite describe it because I would dream about it every night. So it's kind of it's you'd have to catch me early in the morning to be able to describe it.
Yeah, because I have that same kind of feel. I can describe pretty much easily the entire life of Fen.
Okay, so they said, okay, what about people who say they can shapeshift into animals? Do you guys think it could be real or that they are just fantasizing?
I
As
think
far
if
as
if
as far as that goes, like spiritually and emotionally, yes, they transform. Physically, no. That's
I agree.
still unfortunately not possible. But I mean, everywhere else, spiritual and inside emotions, I mean, in their mind, even they're that animal if they transform and shapeshift. But other than physically, other than the fursuit, they're just human.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually,
There's only so much everybody can do. He's a kitsune. Has a cute little fursuit mask.
thank you. So this is fursuit, of course, and then this is what a lot of heroes use as gear. So this is usually a mask just customized to fit a hero type, and people use that when doing quads or just trying to express or experience their hero
Yeah.
type.
See, for me specifically, me, the way I am, I'm also a kitsune, which is a nine-tailed fox.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, uh, that is something that's close to me and something that I've actually grown into. I started off as just a simple fox, but the more I grew with it and everything, the more I come to know myself, the more I realized, and more tails that I grew, so to speak, for kitsune. I know you other four are just listening in.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking on how to
And
describe mine.
Shen, I know this is not a question fitting into the topics of alter human identities, but are there like feral? Yes, there is feral pursuits. I can answer that right now.
there are.
I have.
And
I've seen a dino, like a raptor feral fursuit, and it's really well constructed too. There is definitely feral fursuits out there because they have to be special made because our body just doesn't contort that way.
Yeah.
Mostly based puppeteering for that, though.
Not the raptor one.
Some of them, I've seen some of them that are like you have to do some puppeteering for that.
Well, yeah, there's some of them that's gonna have to have some puppeteering for the head and whatnot, because our necks just don't bend up that way.
with me, to the topic previously, there in Norse mythology is a red fox known as Telekitu.
Yeah.
I know I probably butchered that. It's Finnish, but it's the spirit of the North. Every time the uh, tail of the fox strikes the earth, as he runs through the forest, it emits sparks, and those sparks rise to the heavens as the aurora borealis.
Yeah. If Luna has any
And
questions too, she's welcome to ask.
They're at the moment a little bit busy.
Well, that's okay then. But we can also like any questions can go for each other as well. Oh, they just messaged me. Oh, back to the Alta human stuff. How did Kitsune get their tails? Are they born with 9 tails or do they need to earn those? As far as the way I felt it, I felt they needed to, I had to earn mine. Others are different. They're born with 9 or more. It's just a matter of how they're raised, so to speak, and how they're created. It's just the way I feel on that. I had to earn. I started off with 2 tails whenever I started being a kitsune, and then I had more tails added afterwards. The more I grew.
I'd like
So
to add to that actually because that I like how that adds to theoropathy because with Ben, I had to learn the story, like earn the ability to understand.
Right. And about it's not North, it's Norse, like the Greek Norse. Isn't there a familiar story in Finnish folklore, like with a fox creature being responsible for the aurora borealis?
Yes, the
Yeah.
one I was telling about. Uh, Telekitu. Ironic enough, the logo Mozilla uses for their Firefox web browser, the fox inside of that logo is the Spirit of the North.
And there's also the game Spirit of the North.
That much is true. It tells a basis of the story of Telekitu.
Yeah, and that's kind of what got me into storytelling games, was that one in particular. So, excuse me. Yeah, it is a good game, that's for sure. But it tells it even though it's just a game, it's still a story of the Finnish folklore. It just doesn't have any words. Let's see here. Well, if you got any more questions, anybody, if y'all got any more questions, or I can bring up another question from my list.
I have one.
Shoot.
The Therian here. Okay, has your transformation been life altering? Besides perception of life, has it physically changed the way you do everything in your daily life?
For me, it has, yeah.
Yes.
I
It,
want to cut in real quick. You said back to the kitsune again. How does a kitsune earn a tail? Uh, they kind of just have to go through their own personal trials and tribulations. If they pass a trial, they earn a tail. At least the ones that do. See, myself, I've gone through many trials in the past few years, and my husband here can agree that I've been through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The more you go through in life, the more magic and power you earn. But that's as far as that side of it. And I'll let you two finish on the theory in question.
Yeah. So how it's altered my life. Absolutely. So again, it's a discovery of sort of like another being. So discovering Fen was like it completely blew my mind. It was like, whoa, there is something else here. Let's figure it out. So we had this discovery of just wow, there's other people like me first. And then there was okay, why is Fen here? What are they doing? I still don't know why, but I know what they do. So Fen is like a carer. He likes to read people physically, so I'll see them. And Fen is sort of like this, like it's sort of like Cortana with Master Chief. He's like there, and he's like there to help. He's there to help me comprehend. So I struggle with understanding social cues, feelings, and all that. And then Fen's this like being that can help me through that. And that's been a completely nice change that I experienced through that. I've also been deeply impacted by his story. I am happy to share that, but that's up to you. Um,
What, my story?
yeah, so that's been very impactful.
Oh, well, I don't like to dwell on it too much, but if y'all are wanting to know about it, I could go ahead and tell it.
That's up to you, completely up to you. But I'm very comfortable sharing Fen's story.
Well, my story, it was about 3 years and a couple months ago, I was at a very low point of my life, and people in my life know it. I was in a very emotional low. I was in, I felt I was in, the typical depression stuff. I was, I almost let it get me, and that's what the whole car wreck was about. It was me trying to right a wrong in my life, and it wasn't the right wrong in a sense. So that after I had woken up from the impact, I was in the middle of nowhere. Of course, I wasn't in a car or anything. I was just in the middle of nowhere. I wasn't me, the physical me. I was my current persona, and I didn't understand it at the time. And I was like, "What is happening?" For me, like the question back reigned, "What is this, and what is happening to me?" As every typical like art piece goes of transformation. It was an instant where I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel anything except happiness and care. And that's where my husband came in and messaged me. And at the time, we were just two acquaintances. But I had a calling from that one message. And ever since then, we've been together. And ever since then, I've been learning about me and what I'm supposed to do, like, and how I am. And
I got a question for you.
I think the other person here that knew me during that time before then was Justice. I could be mistaken.
I might have, but we probably didn't talk during that period.
Probably not. I mean, then again, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm still here. I'm still around, and so I'm here doing this talk show.
Yeah, I had a question for you. So, do you think that like stereotypes and kin types can actually have this like bond with another kin type or stereotype? So, like the stereotypes of kin and like actually have feelings.
It just depends on how they are, you know, feeling wise. If they're
Yeah,
completely and emotionally shut off, they're not going to have a connection. But if it happened like I did, it's going to be an instant connection
yeah,
sometimes. And it's different for every person and everyone.
I agree. Because right now I'm experiencing because my girlfriend is also a Therian. They're a black wolf named Aurora.
Mm,
Fen and Aurora like interact with each other a lot. It's like a really like good friendship, like sort of like best friends. So like yes, my girlfriend and I are dating, but our stereotypes are like best friends with each other.
yeah. That's how mine and my husband's are. My husband is Renamon from the Digimon universe. Me, I'm just a Jexium, or Rex Fox, which their backstory, the Jexium, the backstory is they live on a dystopian Earth with super advanced technologies. Uh, so are your theory types like a separated personality, like with split personalities, or how does it work? Um,
I, so would you like to go first?
you can.
Hey, so a lot of people like, oh well, they get skeptical of theoranthropy and other kin type, the other kins, and they're like, well, it's just a coping mechanism to deal with things.
Right.
Sometimes it can be, but not a lot of the time. So that's actually it's called a different thing when that's coping with things, and they just create this like other thing. For Therians, it's not. I know for Therians and a lot of Kin, it's just this thing that appears. Because I know people that have had a really good childhood, no problems, and they're still a Therian. Which wouldn't explain the, oh, well, we're skeptical of this because it's another split personality or something.
Right.
It can be explained kind of in the same way, just to make people understand it better. That's how people can make a connection to understanding it, but it's not a split personality or something.
For me, for otherkins, sometimes it can be split personalities or completely separated personalities, or it could more times than not it would mesh with your current personality or just change your current personality. It doesn't. There's no split there.
I
Might I
completely
ask,
agree.
Yeah.
what would you call it where your spiritual identity is meshed with each personality? See, I have 5 split personalities.
Hmm.
I guess you can say dissociative identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they all kind of mesh into one, that's more of another hearted, kind of between Therian and otherkin.
They are completely independent from myself, and they all live I would say, an independent life from each other,
Right.
but all trapped within the same mind.
Hmm.
Hmm. Now that is interesting, and I've not really heard of that much outside of DID.
Okay.
Yeah, a friend of mine had like uh for each one of his personalities, he had a persona for
Oh,
each
okay.
one.
And that would work.
See, each independent identity runs its own life, but all are represented under one persona.
So, like
It's
Jimmy
pretty cool.
Neutron split into 10 personalities.
Yes.
I mean,
I
that
find
kind of makes sense at that if that on that kind of level. There's this boy genius had 10 different. Um. Okay, I'm really glad to get to tune in and talk. Oh, thank you. I'll definitely tune in next time. Hope you guys have a great night. For Indie, it's day because they're Australian. But thanks. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to watch the rest if you got time.
so with that topic, I feel like I don't have too much of a similar experience with that because Fen is more powerful than me. I'm just going to put that out there. He's way more powerful than
Same
me.
thing
He
with my
can,
soda.
yeah. So he is this like different body, like this completely separate body, but his like tied with me somehow, and he can go and see like other like stereotypes, like environments, and can connect with them and can like see other things and can read people's minds. And it's like
Right.
it sounds crazy, and it's like I can't really explain it, but that's what it is.
Uh, at that point, it's kind of delving in a little bit into Pokemon, the specific Pokemon Lucario, with reading other people's minds and whatnot. And that's kind of where my persona is train started.
I
And
mean, I
I've been
really,
a furry for a long time.
I mean, I really wouldn't connect with a video game because like a video game like not really based off like life.
Right.
But Fen is just completely like this, like connected with life, has been here before. Like he, it's hard to explain. I've never had to explain it before.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it is what it is at the end.
Yeah.
It's just hard to explain for us because we're having to think of like, okay, why do we feel this way and how can we explain it?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that's really hard to explain. Like you did something really nice and you're all jittery and you can't explain it. It's just the excitement
Yeah,
of it you can't explain.
completely right.
Because for us, it feels natural. It's like this is our everyday, no matter where we are.
Yeah. I'd also like to talk about the effects that it has like on like actual physical life, like kind of going back to a topic. But
Mm-hmm.
I find that like with mental shifts, which is this period of time when you get this mentality of an animal for like a certain period of time. It can be like
Right.
hour, it can be like 10 seconds, it just depends. But
Mm-hmm.
it's this mental shift of being this animal that has its own actions, like walking on all fours, vocalizing, um, like focusing on like sounds around. Because again, as a fennec, you can hear a lot of things. So one night I was about to go to bed, and then I realized there's a sound that I wasn't able to hear before, and it's a freeway. I did the calculations, and it's about 2 kilometers, or maybe about 1.5 miles for Americans. I was
Yeah.
just never hearing that before. This one specific night, I was like, I can hear all the cars on that freeway. And then I was like, okay, I'll try and just
Ignore it.
try and listen to it. And it lasted for about 10 minutes. So I tried again the next day, and I just couldn't hear it.
Right. Man, that's how it is with me as well. There'd be something that's miles and miles away, and I'd hear it. Like airplanes that would go over and that are, those are 30,000 feet up in the air. The liner airplanes fly high. So for
Hmm.
me, it'd be like there'd be some nights I'd be just laying in bed amongst the quiet and my fan blowing. I'd be hearing airplanes that are just flying over and cruising at night. Because that's for about the last 9 years, I've been next to an airport, so I know what every plane sounds like. Oh, I'm getting comfortable here. Yeah. So if anybody else has any more questions, ask away.
Do you also get the like involuntary? Okay, so a mental shift is like pretty much described as like the shift in mentality, but then there's also the like the urges or involuntary like movements of animalistic behavior. Do you also get that? So like you just vocalize out of nowhere just because you have to get it out, or just
Oh,
it
you.
comes out.
The other two in here, the other three in here can easily say yes, I do.
Mm.
Same.
Like I will randomly just scream like a fox. And of course,
Uh,
two of the people here would say it's cute, and I that's where it gets more into my animalistic behavior, and I'll just deny it every single time.
For me, it's well, my Sona, it's a robot in a furry body, and so honestly, don't know. I don't know. Where I'm going with this. Sorry.
It's like an android, but
Yeah.
built around a furry chassis, kind of like a protogen, but not quite that much.
And I can say I do as well. I have the involuntary uh, making of noises similar to foxes, yips, and barks, but not all the time. I've learned to either keep it real quiet or do it not at work.
Yeah.
There'd be times that I where I know I'm by myself at work and I'll just do it.
Yeah, because it's like this thing that you just feel like you have to get out because it's just
Yeah.
it's just ah. And then like the more you try and avoid it, the more it's on your mind. Like that's currently what I'm
Yeah.
doing now.
I think
It
it's
is
cute.
gnawing at people. It is gnawing at me as well, but I'm gonna try to keep it at
So
bay for now.
I guess this question would be for everybody here, including the two extras sharing mics. How long has everybody been in the fandom?
Oh god, for like a while now.
Could you
You
repeat
don't
that?
have to give an exact day, just years or months.
How long have I been part of the fandom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, to be honest.
I know
I've
I've
been
been
in
a
the
Say,
furry.
fandom.
I've been a furry for almost 13 years now. So the furries, like the fandom's eyes, I could be considered a gray muzzle, even though I'm not that old. It's just how long I've been with the fandom.
I would say the first time I ever had a epiphany, if you will, was probably September of 2010.
So 13 years, same as me.
I would have been at the time 12 years old.
I was 11 or 12.
Yeah, same. I was also 11.
Compared to our current ages, I'm about to be 26 in December.
There is a in certain groups in the mythology and the religion, they attribute your first encounter of a wild animal,
Hmm.
a one-on-one encounter, like a interaction with a raccoon or a fox, however it be, would be the day you are marked by that animal, it becomes your spirit animal.
Right. And I think in that
That
kind of
some
sense,
people could contribute that to your first open interpretation with the furry community. If that is the case, I would say 3 years old. So it's been 22 years now.
I don't remember when I joined in.
well,
I also think it all started when I first got into gaming, because it was like I remember I got Steam to originally start playing Gmod, and I'd always use a furry player model.
yeah. What about you, Ben?
I don't know.
And
You just don't know.
that
No.
it was at the time I hadn't even thought about my Sony. I was just using it as a basic Wolf. And eventually, when they got into VR chat and discovered the Rexolium, I started doing that as well, changing my Sona to a Rexolium. His appearance was based on what public avatar I had at the time.
Yeah.
But then eventually, somebody was giving out a a couple of free avatar commissions, and I happened to win it. And that was the birth of Zach, my character.
Okay.
Albeit on a robot form, it was like more later on. At first, he was fully biological, but then later on, I started going to like where he had some slight augmentations, mediocre augmentations, and started becoming more augmented, becoming almost fully augmented, and then I
What
just
kind
settled
of
on a robot.
stream?
Or no, at first, before I settled on a robot, I settled on a person that was resurrected into an AI body or a
Right.
robot body. And then that's when I finally decided, you know what, just go for robots. Straight up sentient robot.
Charlie, we're talking about the more outstretched part of the fandom, which is Therians and other kin and all that. Hi,
No,
Sophia. We're right now talking about how long we've been in the fandom. That's just kind of what our current topic is. But if you have any questions or anything for any of us, there's about 6 of us here. 2 of us are sharing mics. So, I mean, just ask any of us any kind of question.
Yeah, so with my experience with him, I've been in the fandom for 8 years, and I only got in by watching YouTube. I saw Storyful, and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. Their first series, I want to do that. And then it
Oh,
just kind of started.
well, thanks for the cookies.
Cookies.
Someone in my chat is sharing cookies.
Cookie?
Cookies. My favorite.
Cookie.
Oh, hi Aki. You popped in on a live stream of the talk show.
Hi, Cookie.
Well,
I just want to pop in and
talk
say
show.
hi.
Well, hi.
Well, hello.
But as far as like for me, whenever I had first, you know, I talk about the Norse stuff. The first time I discovered the fandom itself, or at least had an encounter with a spirit animal, so to speak. I had first seen a fox whenever I was out on my parents' land. I was about not even a year old, and I seen a fox. I think it was one of those black and red foxes. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I've always been drawn to those foxes.
I believe those are called silver foxes.
No, the silver foxes are the black and gray. I'm more talking about like the base of the body is red and they have or black and they have like red accents to their ears and nose.
I think they're just called a red fox.
See,
No,
red
red fox
foxes
is
is the
red and white.
opposite. Red body, black feet, black ears.
Yeah, foxes are great.
I just
If I
call it
could, I would
giant
have a
plushy.
fox as a pet, but I can't, unfortunately.
We shall call them giant jungle floofs.
Yes.
Cookie.
Cookie. If anybody like even like in the voice call or on stream have any questions for any of us, I will. For those new tuning in on the stream, we got Indie who streams on TikTok. We got Airwolf. You got Justice. Akie decided to pop in, and then I'm here with my husband Axel. So, like I said, if you got a question for any of us, feel free to ask. Um, that silence though.
I have a question.
What's up?
Can I have belly rubs?
You can have all the belly rubs.
Yay!
That's okay. For I have another question here. What are y'all's favorite foods or kind of general thing, like general food class, I guess? Like just, I don't know, what is your favorite foods?
I'm gonna say mum's lasagna here. Like that's my absolute favorite.
Muffins?
No, mum's lasagna.
Lasagna?
Mother's
Yeah.
lasagna.
So, Sophie on the stream said, sushi. I
Ooh,
personally don't
I
like
like
sushi, but
sushi.
that's just me. My favorite kind of food is Italian food, and more specifically, I think it's called vodka lasagna.
Yeah.
What is vodka lasagna?
It's got that orange vodka sauce and fettuccine noodles.
Well, it sounds like a lasagna that's going to get you wasted.
No, that's what I thought too whenever I first ordered it, but it was a pleasant surprise nonetheless.
I'm just going to say I like cookies.
Mine would have to be anything related with beef.
Beef.
I love meat.
So Arby's then.
Ironic enough, that was my first job, so yes.
All right, babe.
Anything with bacon?
Bacon.
Yeah.
So you get two different kinds of pig. Beef. Oh no, beef is cow. So we got pig. We got bacon for my husband and beef for Justice. Airwolf, I think you're the only one who hasn't answered the question.
What question?
So what is your favorite food?
Hot Pockets.
Hot pocket.
Hot pocket.
Hey, it's good for the pinch.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm amazed that time for no reason nobody said sausage.
Indie's just off in the corner.
Indy's head fell off.
Her. Oh, welcome back.
Thank you. Snubs the quick thing.
Ah. Oh. Hmm.
Skills.
As far as let me see here. What are your thoughts on where our path may go in the next 5 years? Like just
Uh,
us as a furry fandom in general.
No comment.
well,
What
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
what are your
No.
thoughts on where this fandom will go in the next 5 years?
And it's with the state of the internet probably downhill.
Sad enough, I would have to agree with the way the society is portraying furries. It's more likely going down.
Yeah,
I'd say
I mean, I try not to think about that too much because I just want to stick with this fandom as long as I can. And if it stops working for me, I'll just keep to me and not associate with the fandom. But other than that, I absolutely love this fandom, and it's been with me half of my life.
I feel like even though the fandom is getting bigger and has a lot of like young presence, so like people under the age of 18,
Yeah.
I actually feel like it's gonna like sort of like be less because again, first need to just go up and up and up and up in price as well. So I feel like fursuits are gonna be not as common, I guess, because of the price.
Right. And as far as fursuits go, only like 10% of the entire fandom actually own fursuits. And me and Indy are two of them.
Okay, I own a fursuit too, thank you.
I didn't know that, so three of us. Three of us own
Partial.
fursuits.
I do not have a suit.
My husband doesn't either. He'll be getting my old one whenever I get my new one.
You can just carry yours with you.
And I know Airwolf does not have a fursuit.
Yeah. Closest they got is my PC.
A fursuit?
Yeah, because you know why.
Or you just wear a computer?
You know what my Sonos true form is.
I'm joking.
I know.
You know what? I will put ears on my motorcycle helmet. That'll help.
It might help. But
I don't know
unless
how it's
anybody
going to do at
has
150 miles an
any
hour, but
last minute questions, we've been going on pretty much an hour now. If anybody has any last questions, go ahead and ask. If not, I will go ahead and send the outro and we'll be on our way.
Actually, yeah, I thought of one. How important do you think dynamites are to the fandom?
How many what now?
How important do you think dinomasts are to the fandom?
Dino baths?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
You
No,
think,
they're
okay,
not.
I haven't shown it.
Also, Sophia, go ahead and ask your question. I'll read it out whenever we get a chance. Oh, the Dino Mask. Okay.
Dinomask, my girlfriends. They have a movable little jaw here, and they're in
I've
the shape
actually
of
seen
dinosaurs.
those coming up quite a lot recently. Those are not an old thing. Those are actually very recent. Like
So I'm
we've
saying,
seen
like, how
tons and
important do you
tons
think
of
they are to
Dino
the fandom?
Masks.
Because I reckon they're pretty important, because it's a great way for, like, younger people to be able to connect and still
Yeah, and
have,
make their own.
like, a circle.
It is also. I went to a convention not too long ago, uh, and there was like 5 out of 100 people that had fursuit, specifically the Dino Mask.
Yeah.
Okay, Sophia asked you. I'll probably get this a ton, but so you don't have to answer this. But what's it being a furry like? Being a furry is like most typical furry TikToks that I scroll through say is like we have, especially whenever we're first shooting at conventions, we have this release of serotonin. Uh,
Mm.
it's just a different level of joy and excitement that we can feel and we can be ourselves because everybody in the fandom that goes to conventions, we don't judge. We don't we don't take for granted any people that's different. In fact, as a matter of fact, like we embrace people like that. Especially, at least I do. Like we're all
Yeah.
different. Everybody in this fandom is different. Like we all have different backgrounds and everything. But what matters is how you show yourself and how you portray yourself. If you portray yourself like a little blooming idiot, but you're gonna be treated as such. If you just having fun and jumping around, dancing with the rest of us, we're all gonna do it. Like we're all gonna join you. And as far as like conventions go, I've been to 5 conventions in person, and I'm about to go to another one. Uh, in virtual, I've been to 3. You can sort of relate, yeah.
For myself, I haven't been to a furry convention just yet, but I do plan to go to one. So I've just about to go to 3 conventions. I've been to Supernova, I've been
Mm,
to Comic Con, and I'm about to go to PAX, which are all Australian like health events.
right.
So about to go to PAX. That is this Sunday for me. So that is coming up very fast. And then there is another Oz Comic Con, and then there is Melbourne Furry Convention. So that'll be
Yeah.
my first convention, and I'm excited for it.
Well, that's good. We have our like here in the States, we have at least 30 or 40 conventions, all with general attendance of 1,000 furries or more.
Wow.
And that's all across the entire country. Their biggest one in the world is Anthrocon, and it's right here in Pennsylvania. And that's general attendance is like 20,000.
Whoa.
So yeah, it's the biggest one in the world right now. Aside from MFF, which is Midwest Fur Fest in Chicago.
That on average gets between 13 and 15,000. And I
Yeah.
find it funny you mentioned that the attendance of conventions, because you look, not even 10 years ago, the biggest one in the world was Eurofurence
Yeah.
over in Berlin.
That was like 5 to 10,000 at the time.
Yeah.
Even then, like the very first convention was Convention Zero, and that was right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and that was like the 1970s or 80s. So that was our first furry convention, and we've been going with conventions ever since. Not everybody can go because travel and expenses and whatnot.
Finances.
Yeah, finances is not everybody can go, which is okay. They can enjoy all the excitement and everything that everybody posts all over social media.
Yeah, because it's the same here in Australia. We have our biggest furry convention in the Gold Coast, which is like very top of Australia. I live in the very bottom of Australia. It's a 3-day drive from the bottom to the top. So yeah, we have to. Not everybody can go. It's very expensive to get from the top to the bottom or bottom to top. So I think we'd have like around about 1,000 for our biggest furry convention. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm. I know the longest drive I have ever taken was actually recently whenever I moved up here, and that was a 3-day drive, and that was just half away across the country from the central middle in Texas to northeast United States and Pennsylvania. Now, it took me a total of 23 hours just driving, and that included 12 or 13 stops along the way. But it's sometimes, like, depending on the convention and who all's there, it's definitely worth it. It's worth going, but it's if you can afford it. If not, then it's not for you. That's all it's like. If you have social anxiety, I don't recommend going, but that is a great way to burst that bubble. Just going to conventions. It would even include virtual conventions like Virality. It's just a way to break the ice.
If you can't like do conventions, I would recommend fur meets. So in my city, we have a lot of fur meets. We have at
Yeah,
least
same
one
here.
every a month. So I would go to fur meets just to like start up before you go to convention. It's just like get to
Yes.
know people around you, make friends, and get used to the fandom.
Right. Now that is also a great start as well. If you don't want just all of a sudden a huge crowd, you can start with local fur meets, like local town fur meets or whatnot. You can reach out through places on Telegram or Discord or to local state servers or other country servers or whatnot, however it works. But yeah, it's definitely a good start. Now, if there's no more last minute questions, I think we'll wrap it up.
That's it.
Yeah, I think so. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I've got no questions
Uh,
to think of.
Anybody in chat got any more questions? Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll call it there. This has been the Fuzzy Butt Talk Show. Like, subscribe, and everybody's links will be in the description after I post the video. Which this stream will be coming down because how I have it formatted. But yeah, I'll have everybody's links in the description that was in the video. And like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.
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 Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.